Hi friends, I'm putting together this week's class. It was in two parts because of some technical issues. I also want to make sure that you know that next week we're going to be starting using Zoom. That should hopefully take care of that annoying whine sound that you can hear on the video as well. So thank you so much for coming and doing body care with me, and I look forward to seeing you in our new format on Zoom next week. Starting next week, we're going to be switching to Zoom. I'll post an event later today and all the information on there. I think that'll just give us a little bit more opportunity to, if you have a question, you can actually show me what your question is, and we won't have the delay. So I know it'll be a little bit of a transition. I'm still going to be recording the camera view that is me, so you won't be on the video, it'll only be spotlighting me, and that will still be available for those of you who watch afterwards, and I'll still leave the video up for a week. So it won't be much of a change, but a little bit of a change, and I'll post a lot of reminders about it. And if you can help me by reminding friends and inviting them to the event, that's great. Other logistics, I'm so excited that you're here with me, and it's been really nice to have this become a routine thing. We're here every Tuesday, or whenever you're watching, to work on our bodies together. You can support me in a few ways. One is with your dollars, or whatever currency you want to throw at me, pardon me, on PayPal, and that is danceruth@paypal.com. Which Ruth? Dance Ruth. Not at PayPal. Goodness, waking up today, I guess, still. At gmail.com. danceruth@gmail.com. Also, you can invite people to the events when I make them, and let people know that this happens every week, regardless of whether I have made an event or not. Also, you can keep an eye out for other courses coming up on my Facebook page and also on my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel? Well, yes, I do. And you can support me by liking and subscribing to that. That's actually more helpful than it seems, because if I get a certain number of subscribers, then I can start getting ads. So then you can help me get money for my classes without having to pay money for the classes. And that is also Dance Ruth, or Ruth Evelyn. Yay, hi friends, oh my goodness. It's so good to imagine seeing all of you. Oh, yay! I miss you all so much. I know I'm not alone in that. So today we're gonna go back to feet. We haven't done a lot of foot care time in a while. So I'll do a little bit of coming close to the camera. And if you can't see anything, let me know, and I'll do some camera tricks and we'll make sure you can see. So, starting out with our feet, we're going to take one foot, doesn't matter which one, and we're going to grab the heel with one hand and the top of the foot with the other hand. And you don't have to hold it up like this. I'm going to hold it up so you can really see what I'm doing. I'm going to turn sideways because that's a better angle for you to see. We're here, and we're going to twist the heel towards us and the top of the foot away from us. So we get a really nice spiral with this. And you don't have to be like hesitant with this. You can really twist. And then we'll twist the other way. Twist, 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 twist. If you're at home doing this and not in front of a camera trying to make it shown, you can let this foot go over your other leg to have these twists. Or if sitting on the floor doing this is not comfortable for you, you could even hop into a chair. This is great to do if you're watching something. You can be here, just pull up the leg and have these twists happening. All right, so we'll go back to keep twisting, keep twisting. Excellent. And then we're going to take the top of the foot and we're going to fold it towards the bottom of the foot. So I'm not getting into my ankle for this part. I'm stabilizing my ankle. We'll get to ankles in a moment. And I'm taking the top and the bottom towards each other. So we make this little arch. And then bring them towards each other over the top. And then arch towards each other like a happy face. Towards each other, away, towards, away, towards, away, towards, away. Let me know if you're having any trouble seeing this, and I'll get closer for the second side. Then we're going to have a nice moment with our foot we'll take the toes and the fingers and intertwine them. For some people, they end up, our shoes push our toes close together, and we want to have them as wide as we can so that we have that stabilizer, that support. Whether you are wanting it for dance or whether you're just wanting it for your day-to-day lives, having a nice wide foot is really a great thing for us. So we'll take our little finger and our little toe and wiggle it in. Next ones, wiggle it on in there, wiggle it on in, wiggle it in, and then the thumb just wraps around the outside. So you have this nice intertwined foot and hand. And wiggle it around so you can get even more in there. And you can hold onto it with your palm. And then we're going to do little circles. So I'm going to hold the arch of my foot with my other hand to stabilize while I take the top of my foot in little circles. And the other way. And keep breathing even though we're all about feet today. And other way. Excellent. Ooh. And then you can take your fingers away and notice that you have a little bit more space around your toes, and that feels really nice. Closer would be easier. All right, I'll come closer. When I'm moving away, there's a great question. I'm going to come closer so I can answer these questions. So over here, when I am moving away, it's mostly my toes that you can see, but I'm also getting into this part of the foot here. So there's a little bit of that stretching, even though it's not showing very much. I feel it. All right. And so now we're going to take our foot down here, and we're going to take our fingers, if we're still on this first foot, whatever your first foot is, we're going to take our fingers and go down as if there's this space between the big toe and the second toe. As if we can continue it, we'll come down and spread those bones apart, your metatarsals. And we are getting in there, and sometimes this is a pretty intense feeling for people, so go at your own pace. As I always say every week, I'm not a doctor, and I also can't feel what you're feeling. So if something feels warning painful, like, ooh, I shouldn't do this, don't do it. But this is something that can feel good to get that intense, like, ooh, that's a lot, but this is a good thing kind of feeling. So we're pushing the metatarsals, spreading them apart. When I teach this in person, sometimes I get offered to come in and help people feel it, and they're always like, oh, you're really getting in there. I'm trying to bring my fingers towards each other. So if you're wondering if you're pressing too hard, you probably could press a little bit harder, unless it's too painful. We go down as far as we can until we get to a point that we feel that our bone structure is different. It's around the midfoot. We stop having the kind of finger bone kind of feeling, and that's where we stop. Getting in there a little bit more. I like working on the feet a lot because whether you are exercising more, some of us are exercising a lot as our way of dealing, or whether you're exercising less, which is also a way that many of us are dealing, your feet really like to be taken care of. So this is good. Good job. Okay, between your second and third toes, we are getting in there and we're really squeezing them. You keep squeezing between your second and third toes while I come up to the camera, and I'll show you with my hand a little bit more what I'm doing. So if this was my foot, we're going to just imagine, and these were the toes, I'm coming in here and really getting down, squeezing on both sides, trying to get my fingers to meet each other in my foot. Okay. Then we'll go between the third and the fourth toes. Spreading those wide. Whew. That's really exciting for me today. Between the fourth and the fifth. just shake your hands out for a second. And I'm shaking my hands out as if I'm turning doorknobs, and as if I'm screwing in light bulbs, just giving them a little rest. Excellent. And then we're going to take our hands and we're going to imagine there are hinges between our toes. So if the big toe and the second toe had a hinge, we're going to hinge, hinge, hinge. Second and third, hinge. Third and fourth, hinge. And fourth and fifth, hinge. We're going to do the same side again. What I'm doing is, with this foot, I'm going like this. Like I'm folding it. So I'm taking my hand, thumb on my big toe, other thumb on my second toe, and I am folding it towards each other across the bottom and folding it towards each other across the top. And for some reason, I always visualize saloon doors, like somebody coming in and making a grand entrance, and so this always feels like a little bit like an old Western or something. That has no anatomical reason other than I relate hinges to that kind of thing. Second and third toes are here. So I have my thumb on my second toe, thumb on my next toe, my fingers wrap around underneath, hinge. Third and fourth, you know the drill by now, we're folding under, folding over. Fourth and fifth, do-do-do. Excellent. Taking the hand, going to take the big toe and just give it some pulls, and let's spend a little bit of time wiggling it here. Not too hard, but just giving it some length. And the next one. The next one. We're on the fourth toe. And the fifth toe. Excellent. Let's get into the arch just a little bit with our hands. I'm just giving a little tiny massage. We'll do a little bit more with the ball in a moment. I forgot to mention a tennis ball is going to be something we're going to use today. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. And we will also be using a towel or a sweater or whatever you have handy. If you don't have a tennis ball, you can take some big socks and ball them up tightly and use that instead. And we'll take this hand, squeeze the heel. Ooh, that feels nice. Let's get in and grab, there's a little bone back here. Just shake it around. Shake it, shake it, shake it. All right, excellent. And then we're going to stand up before we do the second side. And as you're standing, let's stand on one foot and then the other foot. The foot that we just worked, the other foot. And notice how different your body feels. You might feel like your back on that side is a little bit more relaxed. You might find that your balance is different. You might feel like your foot is spreading more on the floor. And while you walk around enjoying that, I'm just going to move this stand up a little bit so I stay closer to y'all. Yeah. Ooh. Maybe we'll get even a little closer still to the second side. Alright. Before we get down on the floor to do the second side, I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to put this underneath my foot. I'm going to put it under the ball of the foot, so right behind the toes, so not on the toes or under the toes, but just behind. I'm going to push into it like I'm kneading bread. I feel like that is a very in the now metaphor. I finally gave in and ordered some gluten-free flour, so I'm joining you all. It arrives today, so I'm joining you all in hopeful sourdough land. We'll see. And then we'll go to the middle of the foot and knead it. And then the back of the foot, kneading it into the heel. And then the whole foot just really enjoying that feeling. By the way, I don't recommend using tennis balls that you use for your feet to try to play tennis with, since we do make them a little bit flat, and the bounce would be really weird. Excellent. And now you can go ahead and, with the ball of your foot, step on it, step off of it. If you want a nice balance challenge, then you can try to step on, hold, off, step on, hold, off, step on, hold, off. If you want even more control challenge, you can step on it, hold, and then step forward. Step on it, hold, step side, step on it, hold, step back, step on it, hold, step side. And that starts giving you some more control as you're playing with it. Then let's get to the midfoot. Step, off, step, off, step, off, step, off. Oh, that feels fantastic. Let's do a couple more of those just because I'm really enjoying that. Excellent. And then let's step onto the heel. On, off. Do you all feel this? It feels so nice. I can feel my foot starting to release more. And again, we can do the same balance challenge if we want to. On, hold. It's a little harder to fully get the foot off because of the shape of the foot. Your toes may settle down. But if you are somebody who wears shoes with heels, this is nice to notice how much release you can have while you have something under your heel. Do-do, shoom, do, shoom, do, shoom, do. And then step off. Ooh, that foot feels more alive. Like sparkly somehow. Okay, so before we go to the second foot, we're going to sit back down and do the floor part. If you're just joining us, we're on the second foot, and I'm super excited to see you and have you join. Feel free afterwards, the video is going to stay up. You can go back and do the first foot. Okay, foot two. Hello. We're going to take it, and for those of you doing this at home, stabilize it over your leg if that's comfortable. You could also do this sitting in a chair. I'm going to hold it up for part of the time just so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing, and I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see this part. So we're here. I'm taking the top with one hand, the bottom with the other hand, and we're rotating the top towards our middle of our bodies and the heel away. And twist, 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 and really get that twist in there. Excellent. Twist, twist, twist. The next part, we're going to be doing just this to this, and we're not getting into the ankle with it. We're trying to stabilize the ankle. Just get the foot. I'm getting a little bit of toe popping. That's just what I do. I just realized I have a weird little hummy song. Whatever works for you. Here we go, yeah. And then I think I forgot to do this on side one, but we'll do it on side two and then go back to side one. We're going to get into the ankle a little bit. So now we're letting the ankle get into this, bringing the foot all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. And let's go back to side one for a second. Just sneak that in there. Excellent. Back to side two. We're here, and we're going to take, I think you can see better if I shift to this angle. I'm going to take our fingers and interlace them with our toes. Wiggle them on in there, and it might take some wiggling. Like when I first started doing this, I had very tight toes, and so I would have to really just wiggle one, get the next one and wiggle it. I find it's easiest for me if I start from the little finger and little toe and work from there. Wiggle it on in, wiggle it on in. And then once they're all in there, you can give some more wiggles to get a little bit more interlaced. And then with that, you can roll it around. And roll it around the other way. This hand I have holding the thumb under the arch and the fingers over the top. Rolling it around. And another way, rolling it around. Just glancing to see if any questions are coming up. All right, everybody's favorite part. This kind of feels like flossing because you're getting in there. So taking our pinchy fingers and going in between the big toe and the second toe. And as you do this, you could think of it as like, oh, it's really struggling against it. Or you can think of it as they want to move apart. So we're just gently helping them move away from each other as we bring our fingers underneath and over. If you have longer fingernails and you don't want to stab yourself, I assume you don't, you can take the side of your hand here. So I'm using this part of my finger, and then you can take the this part of your thumb, and you can avoid stabbing. Good. Spreading those apart. Excellent. And then between your second and third. Yeah, you have this. Nice. Whew. That's exciting. Whew. Between your third and your fourth. Yes, keep breathing. And then between your fourth and your fifth. It's interesting because when I first started doing this, it was so intense. And as I've been doing it more and more, it feels much more just like an enjoyable thing to do. This is very easy to do if you're sitting on your couch watching something, you know, just kind of get in the habit of giving yourself a nice little massage. Shake out your hands. Okay. Big toe, pull, pull, pull. Second toe. Third toe. Fourth toe. And fifth toe. Mine always pops. And relax. Excellent. We'll stand up with our tennis ball, or if you don't have a tennis ball, tightly belled socks. And we're here. We're going to massage or knead this here. So I'm standing on the other foot, my weight's here, and I'm pouring weight into it. If your feet are feeling very tender, you can control the pressure by pouring less weight in. If you feel like you want more, you can pour even more weight in. If you really, really want more, you can get a harder ball, like a lacrosse ball. You can order them online for like $5, $3 to $5 each. Middle of the foot, massage. And then the heel of the foot. And it's balance time. So we'll step onto this, off, onto the ball, off, onto the ball of the foot, off, onto the ball of the foot, off, onto the ball of the foot, off. And then again, if you want to have the extra balance challenge, step on, hold, off, on, hold, off, and you can control the off, on, oh, and then if you start sliding, reset, on, hold, off to the front, on, hold. So the next thing I want to do is think about strengthening our feet. So I'm going to show you with my hand what I want your foot to do. We're going to be pulling the toes and the heels together without curling or pinching them, so that we are lifting the arch of our foot. So with my actual foot, not my hand foot, we're here, and it comes like this, comes like this, comes like this. Shoop, 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 shoop. And if you're just joining from the other video, thank you so much for your patience. Shoo, 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 shoo. And you don't need to stand like this. I'm standing like this so that you can see my foot. I'm just doing this little arch. You can see the arch lifting. And let's do 5 more. And we'll go drop, 2, 3. Bring it up. Drop, 2, 3. Arch comes up. Drop, 2, 3. Arch comes up. Drop, 2, 3. Arch comes up. Drop, 2, 3. Awesome. The next thing that we're going to do with this is we're going to lift just our big toes, not the little ones. So it's just, this is with my hand foot, just lifting the big toe. So here, lift the big toe, lift, 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 lift. This is the funniest exercise I do, I think, because it just feels like, yes, I'm doing hardcore or working out with my big toe lifts. Let's do 5 more. And we'll do slow lower. 2, 3, lift it up, lower, 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 2, 3. Good. Let's do the second side here, or not second side, I guess, but the rest of the foot. So we'll leave the big toe on the ground while the others lift up. So with my hand foot, the thumb stays down, or the big toe, the others lift up. Lift up. So let's do some of those. They lift up, lower, up, lower. And if you're like many people, your big toe is going to be like, no, I want to join the party, and encourage it to stay down. Lower, lift it up, lower, up, lower, up, lower, up, lower, up, lower. Let's do 5 more with the slow lowers. Lift it up, lower, 2, 3, 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 last one, lift it up, and you have this lower, lower, lower. Yes, awesome. So this is going to be strengthening a lot of the muscles in your feet that will help prevent plantar fasciitis and a whole bunch of other things that can get our feet as we are on them or off them. Do one more thing. We're going to take a towel, or if you have a sweater or hoodie, whatever, doesn't matter, and we're going to set it down, and with our foot, we're going to go nom, 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 nom with our toes. It's a lot harder if you were doing it on a grippy surface like a yoga mat. So you can do it on a floor, and you pull it in, 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 pull it in. You can do this while you're sitting as well, which is nice. This is another thing I do while I watch television or movies. It's oddly comforting to be just like with your toes. And when you get enough of it in that it feels like it's getting in the way, you can just move that and I don't know why that's the sound my toes make. And if you're feeling a little bit tired, yay, good. If you're not, the next time you do this, you can set something a little heavy on it, like maybe a can of food. Maybe start with a small can if you have one. Now we'll make it a little bit more challenging. And then when you feel like it's too balled up, just move that and get the rest of the towel. That grabbing action. And then shake your foot out. I feel some tiredness along here from all of that. How did that feel for all of you? And if you're just joining, it's nice to see you. Okay, so we're going to do the second side of foot strengthening. I'm setting my towel aside for now. On the second side, I'm going to be doing, again, this is my hand foot. I'm going to be lifting the arch. Lifting the arch, lifting the arch, lifting the arch. So we're here, and it lifts. Actually, if I turn sideways this way, you can see better. It lifts, and it lifts just the arch. So we're not curling our toes or grabbing the floor. Instead, that's staying nice and relaxed, and we're doing little lifts of our arch. You can do this lift the arch by pushing your toes down and imagining, I like to imagine there's a tiny umbrella, like a cocktail umbrella, opening underneath the arch of my foot. Whoop. Closing. Open the umbrella, close the umbrella. Strengthening those arches. I know many of you are dancers. This is fantastic for our dancer feet. And many of you are humans who walk. I think all of us are humans who walk. And this is really, really good for those muscles. Lift and lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. This is nice because this is something you can do while you're wearing shoes. So I do this when I'm waiting in line. Back when I used to fly around a lot, I did this a lot in airports, just kind of standing there, lifting my arch and lowering my arch, lifting my arch and lowering my arch. Let's do 5 more. And we'll do a slow lower that will count 3 counts for. So we're going to lift, lower, 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 lift, lower, 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 lift, lower, 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 lift, lower, 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 lift, lower, lower, lower. Excellent. Wiggle it around a little bit. We're going to be lifting our big toes. So showing with the hand foot, I'm seeing if I can keep the rest of my foot relaxed on the floor while I just lift my big toe. What we want to avoid with this is doing a lot of like gripping and holding on. Instead, we just have this lift, lower, lift, lower. So we're not, we're here, just let them chill out, and we lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. Let's do 5 more for 3 counts with the lower. So we lift up, lower, 2, 3. 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 I totally forgot to count after I said 5 more. This is such the kind of thing that when I watch videos, I'm always like, how hard is it to count to 5? And then when I'm doing it, I'm like, I was thinking about modeling it well, I forgot to count. Anyway, thanks for your patience. So we're going to do the other toes now. I'm just going to check for questions. Yeah, it can be easier. I'll mention that later. So we'll lift that up, down. All the toes up, down. Toes up, toes down. Toes up, toes down, toes up, toes down, toes up, toes down. I always laugh to myself when I see people joining at this point because I'm like, yes, I'm very hardcore, lifting toes. This is going to be helpful for our feet. Very helpful. Let's do 5 from here. Up, lower, 2, 3. Lift it up, lower, 2, 3. Lift it up, lower, 2, 3. Lift it up, lower, 2, 3. Last one. Lift it up, lower, 2, 3. All right. And we'll get out that towel or hoodie or whatever it is that you want to pull. Somebody was mentioning that it is easier for them to pull it in when there's a weight on it. So if you want to give that a try, feel free to. It could be a really lightweight, like your tennis balls, if you want to. And we're here, and we go nom, 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 nom with the feet. Pulling it on in there. And when it feels like it's clogging up too much, feel free to reset, pull it back. And I'll let that go back. Pulling it on in. If you want to really, really strengthen your feet, try doing this a few times every day. These sets of exercises are great for that. All right. Fantastic. Congratulations on all this work on your feet. Take a second to enjoy how relaxed and strong they feel. Like I feel like now I have a lot more spring in my ability to move. Like there's just a lot of power there. I'll try not to bounce too much because I just realized I was waving the camera around. You're all like, oh, yeah, you do feel like bouncing. Okay. So we're going to not only work on our feet today, but I wanted to give us a really solid focus on that for this week. So let's get into our shoulders a little bit, because that is one of the things that I put some tension into, and I've heard from many of you that I am not alone in that. So here, and we're going to take a hand, I don't care which one, and go across our bodies, dropping the shoulder, and we're going to bring the palm of our hand, so it's going to close right here. The thumb is going to be on the neck. I'm just going to pull my hair out of the way so that it does not block your view. So we're here, and we're going to squeeze, like we're squeezing all of the water out of a sponge. Squeeze and release. Squeeze. I'm just turning so you can see different angles. Release. I'm not squeezing with fingertips. I'm really trying to close my hand. Those of you who are dancers, we're closing our hands like maybe you would close your hand over a partner's hand. So we're here. Squeeze, release. Squeeze, release. Squeeze, release. Squeeze, release. Squeeze, release. Oh, it feels so good. Squeeze, release. And let's today go ahead and imagine our arm is a little bit heavy and let it pull us over. So you've just got a nice gentle bend. If you've been here for previous weeks, when I bend, I don't want to collapse over. I want to think about having this side have length. So even as the arm is weighted and drawing me over, I still have this space right here. There's a little bit of engagement to keep me up. We're going to bring our arm forward in a swing, back and squeeze on the back half. Forward swing, back squeeze. Forward release, back squeeze. Forward release, back squeeze. I'm going to do it a little bit slower than I was. Then we're going to speed it up a little bit so we can really get the swing of the arm. So we're here, it will swing forward, and we have a release here. And then it swings back, and we're going to squeeze that muscle. Like we're really squeezing out a sponge. I was doing it, I'm in this deep spring cleaning mode, and so I've been scrubbing everything. And so that squeeze of the sponge is very visceral for me right now. So we're back here, squeeze, comes forward, release. Back here, squeeze, forward, release. And you can think of this, this feels like a very springtime exercise for me, because there's this squeezing out, letting go of everything, and then the release is this renewal, this new life, freshness. Squeeze, release. Now we're going to speed it up a little bit. Squeeze, release. Swing back, squeeze, release forward. Squeeze back, release forward. Squeeze back, release forward. My head is falling out. Squeeze back, release forward. Squeeze back, release forward. Squeeze back, release forward. On the forward now, we'll squeeze. On the back half, we'll release. So we've just reversed it. Squeeze forward, release back. 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 All right, and take a second, reset your arms. Oh, that's starting to feel really nice. I'm now going to take my head a little bit to the side, and I'm going to squeeze as my neck goes to the side, release as it comes upright. This is a different variation than what we have done in any previous weeks. So just to be a little slower with it, head goes to the side, we squeeze, it comes up, release. Side squeeze, up, release. Side squeeze, up, release. Let's turn our head to the side, squeeze, forward, release. 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 Whew. That felt like it really worked. And it opened this up for me. I hope it did for you as well. Ooh, enjoying that. Before we go to the second side, yeah, we have time for this. Before we go to the second side, I want to get into both the collarbone, the clavicle right here, and a little bit of face work. Because we're touching our faces, I'll give you a chance before we do the face part for you to wash your hands if you haven't already, and just in case you've been touching anything. So we're going to bring this collarbone up and forward. We're going to do that by bringing our shoulder up and forward, and you can see here that there's this little opening or gap right here. This is one of my favorite things to do because it's just like, how did I not have space and now I do there? But it can be a little intense. So if this is the collarbone or the clavicle, I'm going to be taking my fingers and going forward. I'll show this from another angle as well. I'm thinking about pushing in, and I'm not thinking about grabbing the bone. Instead, I'm thinking about going in and around it. So I'm trying to squeeze not on it, but around it. Now, if you're thinking, that is impossible, Ruth, it isn't, but it might be impossible for where you're at today. So if you are at a place where this is very tight, we're just gonna push in. If you have sharp nails, like I forgot to cut mine before I did this today, then you can really think about using the edges of your fingers. I do that anyway, so if I come in, I'm even getting into the knuckle a little bit there, rather than using the pointy bits. Up, forward, get on in there. You can see, I'll get uncomfortably close to the camera. You can see I'm really around it. I'm not on it. I'm really around it. If that's not possible, just push in. And then we're going to keep that position, whether it's pushing around or just in, and we're going to lower both our shoulders. Ooh, yes, it's exciting. Yes, sometimes people swear. That's okay. All right, and we're going to lift our shoulder up and bring it down. Lift it up and bring it down. Let's bring it forward. And let's bring it back. Oh, you've got more back, 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 back. That's the real back. And bring it forward, back. And then we'll go forward, around, and around includes that back. Forward, around, and around includes that back. The elbow back helps me really get the back. And then back, really back, around. Back, really back, around. And release it. Whoo. Yeah, that's great. Feels good. All right, we'll do the face for both sides at the end so that if you need a chance to wash your hands, you can. So we'll go to the second side now for the shoulder. So whatever your second side is, just getting this action. You can find it also by poking the middle. I also think of this shape like a jellyfish. My hand is like a jellyfish. So whatever helps you, we're here. And we're over the top. It's tempting to start getting tension in the side we've just done, getting up in here. And so I'm going to encourage you to let that relax and rest down. Depending upon your chest shape, you might have it all the way down, or it might have to come up a little bit to give room, but we're not letting this sneak up here into our ear. So we're here, and we'll squeeze, release. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. One more, squeeze, release. Okay, this side is going to be a little bit heavy, and again, we're going to go up and over. I always think of, like, if you've ever had like a big dog that likes to snuggle up next to you and you're trying to like not squish them while you hold on to them, I visualize that. If that doesn't work for you, you could imagine a friend who's like hanging out in there and you're just kind of side hugging them with your side here. Or just be nice and long and tall and keep that length as you bend over, whatever works for you for thinking about it. And we'll do this nice and slow to start out with. We're bringing it forward, and then we'll bring it back and we'll squeeze. My head is following it. Bring it forward, and it goes back, and I squeeze. Forward release, back squeeze. Forward release, back squeeze. Forward release, back squeeze. Let's speed it up now so we can get a real swing to our arm. Forward release, back squeeze. 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 forward release, back squeeze, 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 forward and back, forward, back, squeeze. Get ready, we're going to bring it forward, release, and then we'll squeeze, back release, forward 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 squeeze, back release. It sounds like they aren't even words anymore. Da 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 da. Forward squeeze, back release, forward squeeze, back release, and we're done. That feels fantastic for me. I hope it does for you as well. Shake out your arms a little bit if they're tired. And now we're going to get into, before we get into the clavicle, we're going to get into squeezing just a little bit more, keeping the shoulder down, elbow down as much as you can. And we will look bent to the side, or not look. This is my trying to understand head angle. Head to the side, up. Head to the side, squeeze, up. Head tilts, that's the word, up. Tilt head, up. Tilt head, up. Up. Tilt head, squeeze, up, release. Tilt head, squeeze, up, release. We'll now look to the side, away from the shoulder. Look, squeeze, release forward. Look to the side, squeeze, release forward. Side look, squeeze, forward, release. Side look, squeeze, forward, release. Side squeeze, forward, release. Side squeeze, forward, release, and done. Oh, that feels great. Okay, now we have our pinchies again. This is the day of pinchies, I guess. We did our feet, we're doing our clavicles. It's fantastic. So to find this space again, we are bringing this up here and forward. So I'll move the strap a little bit so you can see there's really all this space in here, and I can bring the knuckle of this underneath and then over the top. We're here, and then we'll drop everything. Oh, this side's exciting for me today. And we'll lift the shoulder up and drop it, up and drop. Bring it forward. You've got this. Back, yes. Forward, back, and then forward and around all the way back, yes. Forward and around all the way back, yes. Somehow this feels heroic on this side today. Back, get the back, around, get the back, around, and done. Oh, fantastic. Okay, if you haven't washed your hands yet, go ahead and wash your hands. And then we're going to get into stuff with our faces. If you have already washed your hands like I have, then you can just sit here and get yourself a little wiggle. We've been focusing on the extremities today rather than this midsection, but don't worry if you're missing that. Next week I'm going to be back focusing more on this middle area. I'm also just going to sprinkle in reminders as many times as I can that next week we're going to be switching to a Zoom class. It will be, everything else will be the same. There will still be a recording of just my cameras after the fact, but it'll just be a little bit easier for you all to be able to ask questions. I will also have the ability to have a super close-up cam for some of the other things. So I think it'll work better, and we won't be interrupted, surprisingly, like we were today in our surprise two-part class. Okay. If your hands are now washed, we're going to go starting just underneath the ear, right here. We come uncomfortably close again. So we're here, and right underneath, so if you find your earlobe, right behind that, you can feel there's almost a trough or a dip, a little indentation, and then we'll just gently rub that. Oh. I put this in a lot because the face is one of my favorite parts, and I feel so much less stressed afterwards. And I've talked to so many of you who say that you also feel less stressed, and we all need a stress reduction right now, so let your jaw drop and be relaxed as you're doing this. Mine's moving like I'm talking to you, but if you don't have to talk, you can just let it go. And don't worry, because you're not on camera, it doesn't matter. And even if you were, whatever, it feels good. And we're here. Rubbing. Oh, you might find some spots that are exciting. I'm rounding the corner here, rubbing underneath. Really getting in there. For me, like you can see right there, I'm underneath that. And it feels so good. Okay. And then we're going to go the gums right here. We're going to try to rub over the top of the gums. Of course on the outside here. And then over. I like this part because it's the smear, smear, smear. It feels almost like modeling clay. Smear, 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 smear. Pardon me as I cough close to you. We're going to take our fingers on our jaw right here, and we're just going to twist it open and closed. And then fingers here, very softly, circles the temple, starting here, and then going around over the top and back towards my ear. And keep breathing with this. Feels so good. And then we'll take our pinchies, third time using pinchies today, and do our eyebrows. Eyebrow again. If you're wearing glasses, yes, you have to take your glasses off probably for this part. Relax that. And you can, if you have a mirror or camera close, you can look, and I can see that one side of my body, the face is just kind of melting down. It looks so much more relaxed. It's always a little startling to see in myself. So once you've admired your work, we'll go to the second side. Fingers right underneath. So earlobe, go right behind. Ooh. And you may notice that you are not having the same experience on your sides because we are not symmetrical creatures. That is okay. While you keep doing this, I'm going to look for questions. Yes, somebody's commenting about how pinching eyebrows feels so good. It's one of my favorite things. Oh my goodness. And around. The left side for me, which is my second side today, is more exciting. Definitely more exciting. Oh, this feels amazing. Getting around that corner here. Underneath. Down. Under. That's great. And then taking the fingers along the gum, the bottom gum line. Keep breathing. You don't have to close your eyes. I just automatically close my eyes so I can really bask in this feeling. And then the upper gums. Smearing around. You can enjoy smearing your face. Like modeling clay. And then fingers on the jaw. Pinchies. If you wear glasses, take those off. Pinch, 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 pinch. Another pinchy round. Softly on the temple. It's going up toward and then around over the top towards your ear. Around little circles. Don't press too hard on your temples. Make sure it's nice and light. You can put your glasses back on. Ooh, and you can admire your newly symmetrical, relaxed face. And take a second to just walk around whatever space you're in and breathe. And then we're going to end with a couple of deep breaths. Remind yourself that your breath can be all around your whole body. We'll come back a lot more to breath work because I'm really excited about it right now. But for now, just take a deep breath and think about the breath pushing down, your diaphragm pushing down, and everything else in your stomach can expand. So we'll take a deep breath and exhale. And we'll take our hands and breathe, pushing down with our hands to remind ourselves of how that feels. And exhale. And one more. And exhale. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If you want to and can support me financially, you can send me a PayPal at danceruth@gmail.com. Please put family and friends so that the full amount can get to me. This is, I think we had a sliding scale of something like $5 to $18, but you can give me less, you can give me more. All of those things, wherever you're at financially, are very helpful to me, as teaching dance and body care is my full-time job. Speaking of that, if you're interested in checking out dance, Mike Legenthal and I are doing a really cool series right now at Blues Union, Virtual Blues Union. So if you don't live in Boston, you can still join us right now, where we are doing a pre-recorded couple of moves. We did camel walks and boogie drops last week, and then we have a live class, as well as opportunities for you to send us videos so that we can see what's happening with you. So last week's is still up. You can catch up on that, pre-recorded, and you can also catch us this week. We have the pre-recorded one out, and this week's live class is on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Boston time. And if you want to catch all those videos, the place you can go is my YouTube channel. That is danceruth@gmail.com or Ruth Evelyn. And you'll find two different possible things. There's one that has videos. Like and subscribe to that one. That's a great way of helping me out. You can also help me out by sharing with your friends and family these classes and my other classes that are upcoming. You can also remember and remind everybody you know that next week is going to be on Zoom, and I will be publishing an event for next week later on today. Thank you for your patience today, especially with, for some reason, the live video just deciding that we needed to have a break. And I miss you all. I appreciate you. I'm sending you so many virtual squeezes, and I will see you next week.